Hey friends, we've been passing around great recipes as long as I can remember, but thanks to social media, this has grown to a whole new level. I'm so excited to share 7 viral TikTok recipes with you. Me and my family have had such a great time creating this video. We hope that you find a new viral favorite recipe here today. So let's get started. Today we're going to make these TikTok viral tortilla pizzas for lunch. I've got about a tablespoon of butter that I melted in my skillet. Put down 1 flour tortilla, a little bit of pizza sauce, let's give it some cheese. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning on here. Now I'm going to top this with some pepperonis. Go crazy with sausage, whatever, peppers. Oh, I think I have a red onion over here in the refrigerator. I can cut me just a little bit for mine. Let her cook up. I can't help myself. I want just a little bit more cheese over the top to melt down. A lot of these viral TikTok recipes don't really have a recipe per se to them. They just kind of show you inspiration and ideas, but I will try my best to find the original videos where I saw them on TikTok, or if I can find a recipe similar and link those in the description box for you. And I've got my skillet on about medium heat. I don't think I told you that. And I'm going to look for it to begin to bubble around the edges. Then I'm going to put a lid on it, and it will help everything get melted. Okay, let's see how she's looking. Ooh, that looks pretty. That little tortilla is bubbling up and everything's getting melted. Oh, can you see the bottom of this? Look how pretty. I'm going to slide this one off. I'm going to wipe this out because I got a little bit impatient and turned it up a little too high. This time I'm not going to use quite as much butter. I felt like that one was just like swimming. My tortilla. Oh, it is already cooking up. Here comes the cheese, a few pepperonis. And when I say just a few red onions, I mean just a very few. So girls' digestive system just ain't what it used to be. I've also got a little bit of yellow bell pepper and a little Italian seasoning. Here is Maddie's. I love a thin, crispy crust pizza, don't you?
Very good.
Very good. All right, let's cut mine. I got mine a little bit too done on the bottom. See how she is. I love it. How quick and easy. Mine's not too done. I love it. You gotta try these. You probably have everything you need to make these. Good way to use up leftovers always on a pizza. Delicious. Good job, TikTok. Now we're going to do the viral TikTok grinder salad sandwiches. These are just lots of ingredients of your choice, any kind of cheeses you want or meats that you want. And then these are all the ingredients that make the salad that really take this sandwich over the top. I'm just cutting up some red onion, some iceberg lettuce, and I'm dicing up about a 1/4 cup of banana peppers. I am halving the recipe that I found for this. I'm using a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and salt. I'm going to do an entire teaspoon of Italian seasoning and 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. I'm going to throw in just a little spoonful of garlic and mix all this up. Now you're just going to throw all those veggie toppings that you've chopped up into your dressing and mix it thoroughly. You want to put a lid on this and let it sit in the refrigerator for a few minutes while you're cooking up the rest of your sandwich. Really, just the longer it sits and the colder it gets, the better. Now it's just me and Patrick, so I'm fixing up 2 big sub rolls for us. On the top side of your sub roll, you want to put all of your cheeses. For us, I started with a little mild cheddar cheese, then I went in with a little Havarti. On the bottom side of your sandwich, you're going to layer all of your meats. I did a little honey ham, a little turkey breast, then I finished it off with just a little bit of pepperoni. And I'm going to put this in a 350 degree oven for about 5 minutes, just until things get melty and your meat begins to get a little crispy on the edges. Now you're just going to pile on that grinder salad. The more the better. This is definitely messy and it is definitely delicious. So you want to put plenty of that on there. Then I sliced up a little Roma tomato and put on mine. And like I said, this is not an easy sandwich to eat, but it is sure delicious. We had to have a fork with ours. That salad was perfect. I just scooped it up with my fork as I was eating my sandwich too. And if you don't want the bread, you can definitely chop all these ingredients and eat this like a salad. Just put your meat and cheese into this dressing mixture. This one was over the top, definitely a viral TikTok sandwich that was worth making. We loved this. This one really put us into spring picnic mode. Now we're going to make one of the amazing viral TikTok pasta bakes. I've got some water boiling up over here to start. Also browning up a pound of ground beef. Then these are the ingredients that spoke to me that made me want to make this pasta. I've seen a lot of different viral TikTok pastas going around. I chopped up just a small sweet onion and I'm going to brown that along with my ground beef. And this one I'm only using 8 ounces of penne pasta. I did half this recipe as well. And I'm getting all the grease out of my ground beef and I'm going to stir in this 24-ounce jar of pasta sauce. Just want to make sure get all that sauce out of there and stir it into your ground beef and warm it through. You're just cooking this pasta to al dente and then I'm going to remove it from the heat. Now that I have the tomato sauce all warmed up, let's move it off the stove eye and let's pull out the third skillet. Can you believe it? I'm messing up 3 pots for this dish. We're going to start on the cheese sauce and I have about a half a stick of butter that I have melted in here and I'm putting in 2 really good sized tablespoons full of garlic. Just going to saute that in there for just a couple minutes. Now I'm going to stir in a cup of heavy cream. Going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to this and I'm going to cook this up for about 10 minutes until it begins to get nice and thickened. You can tell when you run your spoon down the middle, if it kind of gives way just a little bit, you're almost there. Now I'm going to stir in a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and I used half of this block of Boursin garlic and herb cheese. And I'm just going to stir all this down and let it get nice and melted. And this does get nice and thick on you, so make sure you keep your pasta water reserved. I'm going to add in about a half a cup of that just to sort of thin this out a little bit. Now I'm going to pour my pasta over into this and get it all coated up in this beautiful cheese sauce that we have just made. Now we're going to go to our casserole dish. We're going to pour in that cheesy pasta, go back over the top with that wonderful tomato meat sauce, spread it all out, and if you're keeping count, this is the 4th dish we've messed up on this dinner. We're going to sprinkle some grated Parmesan over the top. Then we're using about 2 to 3 cups of mozzarella on that. I always like to top it with just a little bit of Italian seasoning for color. We're going to bake this 15 to 20 minutes at 400 degrees. I want you to look how this recipe filled out this casserole dish. This is huge and amazing, and this is just half of this recipe. You do need to let it sit for at least 10 minutes before you try to dish out of it. And there's some things that just call for a Dr. Pepper, and this dish was one of them. This was so good. I'm going to give you just a little bit of our reaction because we did like this so much.
That is so good. Oh my God, that is delicious.
This was amazing. I don't know what that Boursin cheese does when it melts down into these sauces, but this was the best flavor. It was so creamy and so flavorful. Now we're going to move on to a Parmesan garlic chicken and tater skillet meal. We're going to start out by just dicing up about 6 potatoes. These are just a small yellow potato here, trying to make them all kind of uniform in size. Going to put them in a bowl and drizzle them with some olive oil. Now we're going to season them up with just a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper. Going to pour over some garlic powder and some paprika. Want to give those a really good toss and get everything coated thoroughly, and then I'm actually going to spread these out on the basket for my air fryer. I've just lined it with a little bit of parchment paper, and I'm going to cook these for about 15 to 20 minutes on 400 degrees in the air fryer. I do pull them out halfway through and give them a little toss, and then I put them right back in, and 20 minutes was just perfect in here. While those are cooking up, I've got some chicken breasts that I've just cut up in bite-sized pieces, cooking that up in my cast iron skillet with some butter, and I'm seasoning that with salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning. Just to taste. Not really a whole lot of specific measurements on this one. You just season to what you think it looks like you would like. And we are going to cook these all the way through, and look how pretty and brown, and it smelled so good in here with all that Italian seasoning. Paprika and Italian seasonings are two of my favorite scents. Now that your taters are done, you're just going to throw them in the skillet with your chicken, toss them around. Then this Holy Grail Buffalo Wild Wings Parmesan garlic sauce goes in. I used about half of this bottle for this dish right here, and let me tell you, this stuff was amazing. I'm not one that falls for buying a lot of different sauces or name brands of things, but this right here is delicious. I'm standing here thinking, I can't wait to make this with some steak and potatoes. I'm thinking of a million things I'm going to put this Parmesan sauce on. I just topped this with a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese, and we're going in the oven till that is all melted. And look at this. This was so good. If I had to choose a favorite, I think this might have been my favorite, just because I love anything in a cast iron skillet, and this was more like my regular kind of cooking, easy, one dish, meat potatoes kind of deal. I absolutely loved this. We all did. We are fans, and I tried a new salad here that I wanted to show you. This dressing was really good on it. It was a maple bourbon vinaigrette. It was just another one of those Taylor Farm salad kits. I'm really enjoying those. But like I said, these are amazing. There is a reason all these TikTok videos go viral. These dishes are so good. Now I've got a little appetizer to share. This is smoked cream cheese with some jelly on the top. This is something that Patrick found and has been making for us, and we love it. He's using one block of cream cheese because it's just the two of us eating on this. And what he's doing is just going across the top of this cream cheese diagonally each side and just making some really pretty little score marks on the top of this. It just makes it cook up really nice and pretty. Then you take your favorite grilling seasoning and very liberally you want to go over the top and all four of the sides. You use whatever you like. We really like one that is sweet and smoky with like brown sugar and paprika flavors in it. He has his pellet smoker set to 240 degrees, and he is just going to stick it on there in the cast iron skillet. And I'll give you a little look at this beautiful pork butt he had going over here. And this is going to cook for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, very low at 240 degrees. It's just one of those that you set it and forget it. Now you could duplicate this in your oven on a low temperature. You just wouldn't have that smoky flavor. Look how pretty it comes out. And you know it's done when you kind of poke on it a little bit, and it just has a little bit of give and gushiness, but it's not just melting out. So I do like to poke it just a little bit to kind of open up where the score marks are. Then we take about half a jar of this pineapple red pepper jelly, and I put it in the microwave to just kind of liquefy it a little bit. Then we pour it all over the top of this. Now what is so pretty about this is this presentation. You can put your Ritz crackers or whatever you're going to eat it with right there in the skillet with it, especially if you've done 2 big blocks. It really looks pretty, but this is so delicious. That smoker does something amazing to this cream cheese. It is magical what it does with this flavor. Patrick and I could eat this whole block of cream cheese if we let ourselves do it. We had to be really careful when he makes this for us, but it is absolutely delicious. It's always a crowd favorite. It's great for the holidays, for tailgating, or just when you're out there on the smoker anyway, throw this on. This is a viral side dish that you are going to love. These are Parmesan crusted potatoes. The first thing we're going to make is just a little mixture here with 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of an herb season. You use your favorite again. I'm putting in about a teaspoon of salt and about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Just going to give that a good little mix and set it aside. Now I'm taking a casserole dish, and I've got about 3/4 of a stick of butter. I'm just going to stick that in an oven at 400 degrees and let it melt that stick of butter. Then I have about 1.5 pounds of these little red potatoes. I'm just cutting them in half. Then on the open side, you're just going to make score marks again, very similar to what you did on the cream cheese. You're just going to cut one way, then cut across the other way. You want to be really careful not to go all the way through your potatoes. You can kind of see here these little score marks I'm talking about. Now our butter is melted in our casserole dish, and you're just going to take that little seasoning mixture that you made and stir it right into that butter in the bottom of the dish. The seasoning that I used has a really strong like green color to it with the herbs whenever you mix it up, but it tastes delicious. And you're going to put all your little potatoes, the scored side, down into this butter, and it's going to be nice and hot. We had a little costume change because I definitely underestimated the size of the pan that I needed. So I just put everything over into a bigger dish. I always like to spray the tops of these potatoes with some cooking spray and go back over them with just a little bit more herb seasoning. Going to put them back in the oven at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. Spraying the top of them with that cooking spray gets the top of them just as crispy as the bottom. And look how good and crispy the bottom of these potatoes are. All that flavor is just crusted right there in the bottom of that. Then when you get down inside the potatoes, they're nice and fluffy and soft. And I put a little bit of ranch dressing over mine. I just thought that was so good. And we can't have a TikTok recipe video without the cinnamon rolls. This is the one that started it all, for me at least. You definitely want to use a casserole dish with sides. And I'm using 1 roll of just regular size crescent rolls because I don't need a grand size crescent roll. These are all very fatty recipes. But you're going to take about 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream and pour all over the cinnamon rolls and let it go all down around them so that they can just soak all this up. Now I have 1/2 stick of melted butter, and I'm going to add in about 1/4 cup of brown sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Just going to stir all that together, and we're going to pour it right over on top of those cinnamon rolls and down all around them again. You can definitely see here why you want a casserole dish and not just a regular sheet pan for these. I'm going to cover them up, and they're going to go in a 350 degree oven for about 20 minutes. Then take that aluminum foil off and cook them another 15 to 20 minutes. When they come out, they're still going to have some liquid in the bottom and be kind of gooey, but that is fine. Let them sit there in that. That's exactly what you want. Then you just want to take that little package of icing and go all over the top of these. These are so amazing. I was never a big fan of canned cinnamon rolls anyway. I always felt like they were kind of dry. I can never go back to eating a plain canned one ever again after having these. They are so fluffy and moist. They taste just like a Cinnabon cinnamon roll. These are going to spoil you and spoil your family. Let me know which of these recipes that you are wanting to try. I can't wait to hear what you think about all of them. Thanks for being here and sharing your time with me. I don't ever take it for granted. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out the one I left on the screen for you. I think you'll like it too. And until next week, I send you love from my kitchen.